Hello and welcome to anyone and everyone who's decided to watch this video. Today, we're taking a look at the Takara Tomy Transformers Missing Link CO1 Convoy, otherwise known as Missing Link Optimus Prime. The original 80s toy remade, but with modern day articulation. And obviously, he is not inside this box, don't worry, he's right off to the corner. But first, let's just take a look at this cardboard for a little bit. It's a nice recreation of the 80s packaging style with some new artwork in the pose from the 86 movie when he's jumping through the air. It's not exactly like that old 80s artwork. As we can see here, there's differences in the color choices and the shading. But, you know, it's close enough. It's the closest we've had to that kind of artwork for a long time. And, you know, the rest of the packaging, we got pictures of the toy, pictures of the toy, pictures of the toy, legal junk. We got more pictures of the toy. We got old 80s box art with other characters, including Sunstreaker over here, who I would love to see in this style because supposedly Sunstreaker is the first Transformer ever made. And also, I just like Sunstreaker, so would really love to get a Sunstreaker in this style. We also got a tech spec down there, and we do got a decoder for decoding that, if you care about that. And we also got some other paper flat goodies in this box. We got this card, this really, really flimsy, terrible quality card. It says Convoy. It has that same art from the front of the box. It's got a hole so you can put it on a lanyard or something. And it's just got some stuff on the back. It's in like a pink color. I really don't like this thing. He's got stickers for some reason, which is weird because all the sticker detailing is molded onto the toy, except for like these bumpers, license plates. Here, these aren't really printed on, so if you want him to have these. But I don't really get why he comes with these. And then he's got a little pamphlet that has more artwork. It's actually the same artwork right here, but there's pictures of the toy. And if we pop it open, we've got pictures of the animation accurate release of the toy. And also we have a different piece of old 80s artwork. And hey, look, it's Megatron, the character who's probably never going to show up in this style because can't really make gun Megatrons anymore, and probably shouldn't have made a gun Megatron in the first place. I said it. But, you know, that's all we got to say about the papers and cardboards. We are here to talk about the plastic. And here it is. And it is Missing Link Optimus Prime. It's a red and blue truck with a trailer. What did you think it was going to turn into? And, you know, it's very convincing. You can barely tell that it's different unless you start looking at it right here from the front. But it very much does feel like a G1 Optimus Prime, as we can see here with the side-by-side. This is one of the reissues, the most recent reissue at the time of this recording of the vintage Optimus Prime, actually. And it is a bit brighter in its reds and blues here compared to the old Missing Link. But, you know, they are pretty convincing. They got the silver chrome. You can see a matrix inside the Missing Link as well as filled-in headlights, whereas this one has just those Diaclone pilot seats and the holes for some hands to go into. But, you know, this one has an Autobot symbol, this one doesn't. This one has molded in lights that are painted to emulate the stickers. This one's got a flat base for stickers that either he didn't come with or weren't in the box, because mine definitely didn't come with stickers. And again, Autobot symbol. But the one thing they do both share is a rub sign. And we're going to take a little bit of a look at that, because that is one thing that I would argue this reissue does a little bit better than good old Missing Link here. Alright, we're just going to jump in here to a quick zoom in on the roofs, because I really do want to show off why I think the reissue has the better rub symbol. And this is the reissue here on the left, the Missing Link here on the right, just to clarify. And we're just going to quickly rub these in like you're supposed to. And maybe it's just me, but I feel the reissue lasts longer, is more visible quicker, and it's actually red, because maybe my eyes just don't work on these rub symbols, but whenever I see them, they usually don't look like the normal faction logo colors. But for this reissue, that's looking very red to me, whereas the one on the Missing Link is almost looking more of a green color. But yeah, I definitely think if there's one thing that's lacking on the Missing Link, without question, it is that rub symbol. But at the same time, do we really care about the rub symbols? It feels like they're just here for that 80s toy accuracy. But that's enough of having Optimus stand next to another Optimus. For now, anyway. Let's get this guy out of here. And let's put good old Missing Link Convoy Prime next to one of his fellow G1 Autobots with Hot Rod, because he's the only other G1 Autobot I own. And they do look nice together. They'd look a little bit better if this was the animation accurate release. But hey, if I was going to get a toy that's a recreation of the vintage Optimus, I want it looking like the vintage Optimus. And while Hot Rod, I will always take in that animation accurate pink any day. So, you know, this is what I got, and they look nice together. Prime standing next to his superior, his replacement, his better. But let's just get Hot Roddy out of here. Oh, actually, no, let's not. Let's first bring in the trailer and confirm that, no, actually, get Roller out of here. We'll talk about Roller in a second. And confirm that, no. Oh. Actually, no. He is fitting in the trailer. That's weird. He wasn't fitting in it earlier, but hey. You can still put your G1 cars in here and haul them around. Now I'm wondering what was keeping Hot Rod out of there earlier, because he was not fitting in previously. Let's get him in there again. Okay, enough about Hot Rod. This is not his time. But, of course, again, the trailer. It's a traditional G1 Prime trailer. You fold out the struts. Yep. Pop it open. And you got the base lying flat. You can, of course, take Prime or any of your cars, roll them up here, and you can roll them out. And you can also park in these side bays if you want to do that. It's a bit harder to do this one because you got that hose in the way. But yeah, you can have them all standing here, ready to launch. And that welding torch came off. We'll put that back on later. And we'll pull Prime out of here. And as you can see in the back, we got the traditional blue pieces for Diaclone pilots to sit. And we have the repair drone. I know some fans like to consider this a version of Teletran. That's not really what it's supposed to be, but it's firing its missiles. But that is a nice way to use it. It's got the radar dish that has a dial here in the back to make it spin. And it has the repair claw that can articulate. It's got the ball joint. It can go here. It can open up a little bit so you can have it hold in and stuff like this tube for the welding torch, which is what this is. It's not a gas can like people like to think it is. And we'll just slide it back on, maybe. Yep, there we go. It's back on just fine. So you can have Prime or any of your Autobots come in and have the drone hold it and just pound out those dents with the torch, just spraying the heat and having it go, because that's what a torch sounds like. And that is what it is. It is a welding torch. Look up the original Diaclone box art. It is definitely being used as a welding torch. And something new they did add to this trailer, the only new thing is if you pull really tight, it's extremely tight fit there, you can remove the repair drone and have it be its own unit, because there is that one time in the cartoon where Optimus, where Optimus opened up the back of his trailer, and this thing came rolling out like this, sat on the door, and started shooting. And they did include some wheels under here, so you can have it just driving around autonomously. If you really want to do that, and it can just fire its missiles. Makes you okay with the fact that Transformers don't come with missiles anymore. And you can pop open the cockpit still to put in pilots, but this thing does not come with any pilots. And, I mean, Transformers never had them either, so useless feature, but I guess it's nice that they kept it in. We're just going to leave the missiles out. And we're going to slot this guy back in. And next we'll bring in Roller, Optimus Prime's dog. And he's here. He's nice and shiny and silver. He's got a little light on him. And that light can actually fold back this way, and he can be used to store Prime's cannon, so he can drive around and go just shooting down all the Decepticons you want. Just Decepticons show up, Roller can just go and blow them away. And if you don't like that, you can have your little siren. He's still got these big pegs in the back of him, which are supposed to be there for launching him out of the trailer, like on the vintage, but there's no launcher, so now they're just there for aesthetic. And in that case, I would have removed them, because it looks weird, just having two giant pegs sticking out of this guy. Now we can finally get back to Optimus himself. And let's talk about the elephant in the room, which is that I don't know if this toy is as great as it could be, should be. Because the idea of G1 toys with modern articulation, like fully toy accurate, is something I'm sure some other fans have thought of before. I've thought of it once in a while. And it's such a cool idea to have and see. But I don't know if I like the way this one achieves it, for the most part. And let's quickly bring in our reissue Prime, and we're going to transform him. And with the original G1 Prime mold, it is best, I feel, to bring out the legs first. Mostly because, as you can see here, the legs are on this triangle-like joint with the teeth that you have to slide forward on a spring. And I feel if you keep them in the truck configuration, they'll get in the way of the arms. So here we go. We got our G1 Prime, just put his hands on him. And here we go. With the Missing Link, it's a bit of an opposite, where I feel you should be pulling the arms out first. They are hidden behind his grill, as you can see. And so here we go. Just do that really quick. Flip the head. You gotta unclip the wheels here. And then here's the scary part. And this part practically ruins the figure for me. Okay, his legs have these red tabs here that hold back the thighs. And then you have to pull them forward. And you can see like that, his waist is really tiny compared to the vintage where it's more splayed out. So there is a slider to get them in that more properly splayed out look. But there's now just this huge gap in between his legs that, as you can see, kind of squishes in like this because there's nothing holding them in place. And I do worry a lot about breakage here because it doesn't feel that secure and it's just so floppy, especially because he's got thigh rotation that admittedly has gotten a little bit smoother from working in, but it still feels very tight. Like, watch. Like, it does not feel the best to move, and that's probably a result of the fact that these were chromed thighs, so the chrome is probably adding an extra layer that was not accounted for in the way they molded the plastic. And the hips are, like, look at that. I'm trying to move the hips outward, but it's just flexing the panel. And that's really unsettling. Like, I honestly just prefer keeping it collapsed together and giving him a smaller gap between his legs because of the fact that his legs are articulated to help feel like he won't break over time. But it is a little unsettling, and it almost brings the figure down. It definitely makes the figure not feel worth its price compared to the traditional G1, which is overpriced as well because it's a freaking G1 brick that people don't really buy G1 reissues anymore. But at least with this one, you have the sentimentality of it being the beginning, the origin. It's a toy made in the 70s, by the way. Diaclone is from the 70s. Transformers is from the 80s. And it makes you realize why they went away from this style, trying to accompany modern sensibilities to it. It just doesn't 100% feel like it works. But, you know, everything else works pretty fine on him with the articulation, the shoulders and elbows, the head rotates just fine, the knees, pretty good, very nice clicky ratchets. I wish we could get these more on modern Transformers. It's got the ankle tilt. The ankle tilt is a little bit weird here because, as you can see, the foot is moving, but well, the toes part is moving, but the rest of the foot isn't. So it's a bit of a diagonal heel, but it works enough. And then he also has an ab crunch, but it only goes for one click. And it doesn't really look that great. Oh, and he also can't really do the pose from the front of the box. Because, like, let's bring in that card again. For a comparison, this is about as well as you can get his legs into the to the pose. Like, you can't bend his leg further than this, despite the fact that he has to be moving like this for the pose. So it's like they're advertising a pose the toy can't do, even though a huge part of this toy is the posability. But, hey, whatever. For still more than what this guy can do. And it is making this one feel a little bit buyer's remorse-y, even though it's still such a fun idea. It's just, he feels more like a novelty toy than an extreme adult collectible, as he was charged as, and it's a little upsetting. But there is plenty to like here still. He does have that lovely vintage Prime head sculpt, and I have always enjoyed the way the original Optimus toy head looks, with the yellow eyes, the vents in his grill, and the stubby little antenna. Although I do have to point out, the way they painted his crest looks wrong, because it's all silver, like the outline and the rectangles, whereas this one, it's just the rectangles and the hexagon that are silver with a red outline, which feels a lot more right. But anyway, but hey, I guess they can cheap out on the way they apply their silver paint nowadays for premium collectibles. And inside, he's got a chromed out new chest piece holding a matrix of leadership, and I believe the color scheme is based off the matrices they have given some of their anniversary reissues of the vintage toy, since it's all gold here and chromed out. But it's nice to see a matrix. It can be removed, but I wouldn't remove it because these hands are not holding it, even with their articulated fingers. They ain't doing nothing for you there in the articulation. In the holding department, I mean. And if we zoom out a little bit more, we can hold him up and look at the arms, and he has the sticker detailing, but now it is molded in free dimensions with some nice paint, and it's looking very, very good. All this random tech detailing. I find it interesting that this one has a yellow line going between the blue cylinders, whereas this one doesn't. And then we go to the legs, more 3D molded sticker details. And of course, on the toes, we got the bumpers. It's the details we know our G1 Primes to have, just in 3D, and it's pretty interesting to see. You don't normally get that on a modern update of a Transformer. And it's cool to see it here. Let's bring in Roller again, just to show him. Also, because we're going over some accessories as we throw around missiles. We, of course, got the gun. It is the G1 Prime rifle, but if we compare to the reissue, instead of having to hold it by the ammo clip, like he always does, he can hold it by the actual handle for once, but we still have a peg on the ammo clip, which can kind of help with dual-handed poses. I mean, like, he's definitely going to be able to do dual-handed, but because of the shape of his arms and his torso, you're not really going to get it looking good. Like, you can have him doing this. You like this? You think this looks nice? Holding your gun this way? I feel like that second peg works better for storing in Roller than having a two-handed pose. And also, he comes with the energy axe, which can slot over the hand and plug in. So you got that axe from that one episode for like a minute that everybody wishes their Optimus came with, and all the modern Optimus toys come with. So, well, you got it. And you know, when you put them all together like this, it does look really nice. It's just, still, this does not work well. It's very disconcerting. It is a nice Prime overall. It just feels a bit overpriced. And yeah, it just feels not as premium as it should for a special Optimus to celebrate the anniversary and to recreate the vintage toy feels in a way it's never been created before. And let's just finish things off with a nice group shot of him with the few other G1 figures I own. The animation Hot Rod, the reissue of the original version of Prime, animation Thundercracker with that Megatron in his hands, and Ravage, good old Ravage, who's actually standing pretty well. Let's get him all in shot. Yep, 3 of my favorites. And Optimus, who I do consider my favorite, one of my favorites most of the time. But sometimes I don't. Depends on how he's ridden during the year. But even still, Missing Link, Transformers, Optimus Prime. It's a fun idea. Pretty nice. It's just there's a few parts of it that kind of irk me. I do feel like it was overpriced, and honestly, unless you absolutely adore those vintage colors and have never experienced a G1 Prime trailer, which admittedly, I have actually experienced a G1 Prime trailer, but I've never owned one. And I do like those vintage colors, so I thought it was going to be right for me to get this version. And for the most part, it is. But for you, you might want to settle with the cheaper animation-accurate version. And that is you're probably going to be better off with it. But, you know, this is still a nice toy, a nice package. It's just got some bugs that I wish were worked out a bit better. And if we do truly get more Missing Link figures, I hope they're good. I hope they're perfect. I don't know how many of these we could really get, because I doubt they could ever do this Seeker mold with modern articulation and actually make it look like this vintage toy, because I'll say it, it's not a good toy. It's not a good toy. Hey, come at me, 80s fans. I do not like this thing. I think it is bad. I only accept it because it is my boy Thundercracker. But even still, this is a good figure. It's just a bit overpriced, a bit flawed, and I would love to see Missing Link continue. And if you want Missing Link Optimus Prime in your collection, I'd say try it out if you can. Okay, so I've been rambling on for a bit, so we're going to end things here. Thanks for watching, and see you guys around.